Welcome back to another episode of Full Ride, powered by URECRUITU. This is your recruiting and athletic scholarship coach, Kito Delgado. And today, we're going to talk about how you can score an athletic scholarship to college. That's right, we want to help you score. The winning formula is S.C.O.R.E. So you definitely want to tune in for this week's episode. But before we get to that, so last week I talked about to my athletes briefly. I congratulated you on graduating from high school, right? And many of you are going on to play college sports. And I'm really happy for you. And I just touched on how you got to take your game to that next level. And I just want to really just, if you allow me to, even drill down even further by sharing with you my experience. Because yes, I want to get you that scholarship. I want to help you get that scholarship. But I also want to really make sure you experience success at that next level. And part of that is really having an understanding of what you can expect once you get there and what you can do over the next few months or for some of you weeks before you go to college, right? So as you may know from the very first episode I shot, I went to Boston University my freshman year on a full athletic scholarship for football. So we report to camp in August. And before we go to camp though, our coaches, they send us, a workout, a workout program. They send us, a very high level playbook. And then they also give us the conditioning drill, the test, for us to practice. So when we get there, we can pass the test. Well, throughout my entire high school career, I'm not trying to brag here. I'm really not. So don't take it the wrong way. But I was always the best player, not only on my team, but in my conference, particularly my junior and my senior year. Team, we played in a very small conference. My team wasn't good. So when I say I was the best player, it's not a big deal. It's just a reality. But as a result of that, because I played on such a small team, a bad team in a very average conference at best, I was able to get by on my talent. Right? I was 6'3" at the time. I was like 180 pounds, 190 pounds, soaking wet. But I was faster than everybody. And they say speed kills. So I was a receiver. Sometimes they blind me out in the running back. They just pitch me the ball. I'd run around the edge. I'd score. I also played defensive back. And, I had terrible technique. But I was faster than the other kids. So even if they got by me, I could catch up. As a matter of fact, after a while, I just got by on reputation. They didn't even throw the ball to guys I was covering. But my point is I share this because I was just so used to just kind of skating by and getting by on my talent alone. And I want to just warn you of all my athletes out there who are, maybe you're not even just going off to college, right? You're going to college for the first time, but maybe you're also a student athlete who you're going from JV to now you're going to varsity. Or maybe you're already on varsity, but you were like the 8th or 9th member, say you play basketball, you're the 8th or 9th man, and now you're going to be asked to be a starter and play a bigger role. You guys are all at different phases. But let's particularly focus now on my kids, though, who are going off to college. Here's the thing. Talent alone is a lot like food. You're probably like, Coach, what are you talking about? Just hear me out here. Talent alone is a lot like food, like your eggs, like your milk, your yogurt, your bread, your meats. What happens with those types of foods? Eventually, those foods, they have an expiration date. They go bad after a while, correct? Your talent is no different. Your talent alone has an expiration date. And if you don't work on your talent, if you don't work on your craft, if you don't take care of your body, if you don't put in the work, if you don't study your craft, if you don't do all these things, eventually your talent will expire. And not only were those who you once were better than, not only will they catch up to you, they're going to surpass you. So I want to just make sure all of you student athletes who are going off to college don't make the mistake that I made. I mentioned earlier, they sent me our playbook. I didn't read it. They sent me the workout. I didn't do it. They gave me the condition drill. I never practiced it. I didn't stretch. I didn't work out. I didn't do any drills. I just assumed I was going to show up, be the man. And I got smacked in the face with a dose of reality. My body, during my freshman year, during camp, broke down on me. Because I never stretched, I never took it seriously. My groins are always tight. My back was tightening up. My hips, my quads, my hamstrings. I'm just going to tell you guys something real quick. Your best ability is the availability. And if you're always on the sideline getting stretched out, if you're always, dealing with little aches and pains, eventually what's going to happen is your coach is going to say, they're not ready. And they're going to move on. They're going to invest their time in the athletes that are ready. So not only was my body breaking down, but now the playbook was way over my head because I didn't open it. I didn't open the playbook. So I wasn't ready mentally. I wasn't ready physically. And I was miserable. I don't want that to happen to you. Please don't let that happen to you. So again, whether you're going off to high school, college, or even if you're playing high school sports for the first time, understand there are new levels right now. Playtime is over. It's time for you to start treating yourself like an athlete. Have an athlete's mindset. And an athlete's mindset, the number one thing they understand is that their body and how they take care of it, there's no sacrifice too big. You get to sleep. You eat right. You stay away from McDonald's. You stay away from soda. You stay away from candy. You eat right. You drink water. You stretch. You work out. You train. You compete to get better. So we only have, a few more minutes on this week's episode, so I don't want to go too much on a tangent. But parents, because I know my audience is primarily parents, please make sure your student athletes though hear that aspect of this episode, because they got to understand that talent alone is not going to cut it, particularly at the college level. So yes, you got that scholarship. Hopefully you got that opportunity now. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? All right. So as far as how you score S.C.O.R.E, an athletic scholarship, that's what we're going to talk about for the next 5 minutes. All right. So get your pens out, your pieces of paper, write this down. SCORE. S stands for skills. I just kind of touched on it. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to have a good attitude, right? You got to be a good teammate. You got to be coachable. You got to have good grades, which I'm going to get to in a second. You got to have all that. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to be real honest with you guys. College coaches need to recruit players that will help them win ball games or whatever your sport is. They want athletes, they want players who can help them win. Because if you can help them win, you're helping them keep their jobs. Period. It's that simple. So, the first thing you have to do in order to score an athletic scholarship is you got to have skills, athletes. And parents, you have to create an environment that allows them to develop their skills. Whether it's going on Amazon and buying them a jump rope, buying them, some tools, cones, ladders. There's all types of little affordable things you can do. A yoga mat so they can stretch. You can get them some weights they can do from home. I'm not saying you got to have all the money in the world, but you got to make an investment so that they can develop their skills. And then for those of you who are in a position to do so, I encourage you, maybe at some point, not in the 5th grade, 6th grade, but 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, if you can afford it, then you up your game and you invest maybe in a personal trainer to work on your strength, or you work on a skill coach to develop a certain, maybe you're a basketball player, a shooting coach. If you play goalie, a goalie coach for soccer. Again, I know my audience, we have people all different economic means. So I'm not saying you have to invest in a personal trainer. But I will say this, if you know your goal is to play in college, maybe mom and dad, part of your strategy should be to start setting aside some money so that when it is time for them to get some personal training, it's not a big expense to you because you set that money aside, right? So I definitely want to talk about those skill. You got to have that skill, right? So talk about that. Athletes, do what you can do, but then mom and dad, figure out how you can support that effort. Part of that is also, obviously, driving your child around to different events. Get them to the weight room. Bring them to practice. Get them to that trainer, right? C stands for Core GPA, right? So now you can have all the skills in the world, but if you're not eligible, a coach is going to recruit you. So you got to have a core GPA. And I'll go more into details about core GPA another time, but simply put, you got to have good grades. Maintain good grades, but particularly you got to maintain good grades in your key classes, your science, your math, your English, your Spanish, your history, right? So core GPA. O, you have to have an open mind. Open mind. Go into this with an open mind. Don't be so narrow-minded and have, I'm only going to consider these 3 schools or these 5 schools. I'm only going to consider this conference. Have an open mind. Next is R. Be realistic. You have to be realistic. Yes, I pronounced it all the way. Realistic. Because this, by far, in my opinion, is one of the things that sinks a lot of families. They have a lot of opportunities that they could pursue, but because they think they are at this level and they won't look at schools that they deem below them, they miss out on some great scholarship opportunities. So you got to be very realistic. And then lastly, right? So I talked about last episode, the number one mistake families make is not having a game plan. So now you have the game plan, right? Maybe you're starting to write some stuff down. You're starting to think about it. Thinking is not the same as executing. So the E is executing. You have to execute the game plan. You have to do it on a consistent basis. Recruiting and getting a scholarship is just doing a number of consistent plays over and over and over and over again. You got to execute. So there it is, guys. That's your winning formula to scoring an athletic scholarship. You got to have skills. Develop those skills. Athletes, hit the books. Make sure you have a good core GPA. And if you don't know what core GPA is, I encourage you. Again, I'm going to eventually get to it. I'm going to go into it in greater detail. But you can also visit ncaa.org, or you can do a quick Google search, NCAA plus core GPA. But essentially, these are certain classes, your core classes, your math, your sciences, your histories, your Spanish, your English, that you have to have a certain GPA in, right? So core GPA, have an open mind, be realistic, and then execute the game plan. That's it. That's your winning play for this week. Understand and remember, write it down, put it on your kitchen refrigerator or somewhere where you guys can all as a family see it. SCORE, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to score an athletic scholarship to college. But that's what I got this week. I want to just quickly make a brief announcement to you. I'm really excited because we want to really do our best. Right now, I'm working a lot with one-on-one with families to help them with college recruitment. But clearly, my goal, our mission at URECRUITU is to reach more families at once. So we are in the process over the next few months or so. Hopefully our goal is by September to launch this, but we want to have an online offering where we are going to, online course. It's going to have quizzes. It's going to have worksheets. It's gonna be the best online curriculum for college recruitment you will find, and it's going to be well priced. I promise you that. All right, we're going to have different payment plans. If you can pay it all at once, you get a discount, but then we can also space it out. But let's not get caught up on the price right now. Let's just really focus on the value that's going to deliver. I'm going to put our very best into it. I'm going to get some feedback from parents, from college coaches, from former college athletes, and it's going to be a great curriculum for you. I promise you that. It's going to be the URECRUITU Academy, so stay tuned for that. Just kind of want to, put that in your ear today. And I also invite you to make sure you follow us on social. Let's get social. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Just use the handle URECRUITU. Like us on Facebook. Just search URECRUITU. And then, of course, please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you like what you hear, leave us a quick review, but don't forget to give us that assist. Give us that assist. I'm also airing this on YouTube, so YouTube, that's right, on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, and then you also share too, right? But until next time, this is your coach, Kito Delgado, reminding you that college recruitment starts with you. What steps are you taking today, right now, today? What steps are you taking today to earn an athletic scholarship tomorrow? Go compete. All right, guys, till next time. Peace.